Good evening, everybody. Welcome to day 10 of the Nanticoke Newsroom with Bob Kalinowski. Tonight I'm actually starting off with some sad news. This is just getting to me too much. Doing these videos every day after a day of work, and I don't know how many of you actually like them anyway, so this is probably going to be the last edition of the Nanticoke Newsroom. We're going to make it the best one yet. Just kidding. April Fools. How many of you got tricked into something today? I actually didn't even have one person try to trick me with anything, so I think coronavirus has everybody even not even thinking about April Fools. Except me, obviously. Look. So today, the rundown is, we took part in a conference call with the Secretary of the Department of Corrections of Pennsylvania. We asked him about the fate of SCI Retreat and why it was chosen to be the quarantine zone for all new state inmates. While one local bar in Nanticoke got shut down today for not following the governor's orders, we'll tell you what the state is saying about how you might be able to get alcohol now that the state stores are closed. And if you missed it yesterday, you gotta see what Jack did. I found it on the video. We put it in slow motion to see what Jack did yesterday, Jack the cat did. And while we're talking cats, let's talk big cats, mainly tigers. And I think you know what I'm talking about. So let's get right to it. Here's the questions and interview I had today with the Department of Corrections Secretary John Wetzel.
Mr. Secretary, it's Bob Kalinowski from the Citizens Voice newspaper in Wilkes-Barre.
How are you doing today?
Good, sir. Just two quick questions, but it's one question. Why was SCI Retreat chosen as the overall quarantine site for the DOC? And does this change or extend the decision to close SCI Retreat?
One, because it was almost empty. And so it was the easiest place to do that. The fact that it really gave us the opportunity to, as I described earlier, if you were on the call, house people, really separate and have 14 different quarantine areas to ensure that someone's through the incubation period. Two, as far as what happens after this is over and what life after Corona looks like, I couldn't tell you. I hope it's soon that we're having those discussions, but I couldn't tell you.
So it's not a set in stone still that it's going to close in June?
Oh, it's not closing in June.
Okay. Secretary Wetzel was pretty adamant that SCI Retreat is at least not closing as at the time it was expected to close. It was supposed to close by the end of June, and he's saying that's very unlikely at this time because of coronavirus. Earlier today, people were letting me know that Lacey's was billboarded all over, not billboarded, but plastered with paperwork saying it's closed for business. The state closed them down. The State Liquor Control Board and the Pennsylvania State Police Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement allege that Lacey's did not close down as ordered by Governor Wolf on St. Patrick's Day. They remained open on St. Patrick's Day, so now their license is suspended and they cannot even open a sell takeout. So that's Lacey's Bar in Nanticoke. And then later in the day, I saw a story post that on I think the Patriot News in Harrisburg that the state is resuming alcohol sales online. Since we have state stores only in Pennsylvania, you have to buy your alcohol from the states, fine wines and spirits. And they tried to resume online sales today, and I don't know what the exact word for it was, but they said the site was overwhelmed and down. So if you're trying to get some, restock your booze supply from the state, it might take a couple of days. There was a bunch of restrictions, but there was a story on the Patriot PennLive.com about that. If you didn't see this yesterday in the video, it kind of was subtle because my little flag thing over here next to the big flag, Jack was roaming around on the desk behind me. He jumps up there sometimes while I'm shooting these videos, and he toppled the American flag, and the little one. And obviously, I had some slow motion video. Had to do it in slow motion to see how that sucker did that. So I have a question: can cats be charged with flag desecration? I want to know that. And you know what? Even if they could, I would give Jack a pardon. So I posed this next shot, but I put Jack on top of my TV stand next to my TV when I had one of the trailers on for one of the most popular shows on Netflix that's taken over the country. It's just, I think it's a #1 show on Netflix now. It's a documentary series called The Tiger King. And I can't really believe I'm doing this. I don't know anything about movies. I don't know anything about pop culture. I don't ever get involved in these things or watch them or care. But so many people, and even before Nanticoke Newsroom started, no, not before, but recently, while we've been doing this, said, you gotta watch The Tiger King and talk about The Tiger King because everyone's obsessed with it right now. And people would love to hear what you have to say about it. So I started watching this show, and it's basically like this very eccentric guy. CNN, I saw a story yesterday that said he's a former zoo owner, big cat enthusiast, magician, and country music singer. And basically, he's at war with this animal rights activist, his arch rival. And basically, as the series progresses, they in the series accuse her of killing her rich husband, and in turn, in real life, I guess it's no spoiler because everyone knows, this man, Joe Exotic, the tiger guy, was jailed for 22 years in a murder for hire plot against the animal rights activist arch rival. And one of my friends, I asked him, like, what does this compare to other reality series? I said, I don't know. He goes, my friend Brian Martin, he said, this is a whole new universe. This is way more than redneck. This is crazy. But in one of the early scenes, I think in episode 1, this guy kind of sounds like someone you might know.
Woke up this morning with the sunshine in my eye.
For Joe, the zoo was his stage. He had this live TV show that...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to JoeExoticTV.com. Yeah.
Joe had been doing these internet broadcasts either on a regular basis or periodically for probably a decade or longer before I got there. He never had more than 80 people watching the thing live.
See ya.
He knew that I could make him famous. I made it look like a real television show.
Okay, I need to hire that guy. We need to find that guy to make Nanticoke Newsroom lift off like a rocket ship. But like I said, he said that scene, maybe it's someone you know. Well, it's an attention-seeking guy who has a show that few people watch, and he's trying to become famous. What's wrong with that? Okay, everyone, time for my laugh, smile, or cry feature today. And I laughed and smiled today when I walked into Jerry's Market on West Main Street in Nanticoke to see a very familiar face, my friend Joanne Garrity. I was picking up 2 loaves of bread for Aunt Marge next door, and Joanne is always so nice to my family, has been so nice to me, so it was great to see her. I haven't been over there in a little while, so it's awesome to see her. And the addition of the laugh, smile, cry word of the day, we got what makes me hungry award of the day again. And today, Brian Martin, my friend who I just mentioned before, from Charlotte, North Carolina, showed me this picture of this pizza he made himself. So that made me hungry, because he sent it to me. No one else sent me any pictures of food today, so Brian gets the award in a landslide, 1-0. And the Cliff Lewis Random Act of Kindness Award today goes to a bunch of people, several people. Rich Jackson, who got it yesterday, is part of this one too, from Plymouth Township. Then Tammy Rinkevich, who owns or runs, her family does, TNT Subs in Nanticoke, and the Tilbury Volunteer Fire Department. They are setting up a food bank on Monday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Tilbury Fire Hall to help out during this time where food is scarce for some because of the coronavirus. So thank you guys for watching day 10. Hope I didn't scare you in the beginning when I said this would be my last show. The show must go on, and it will. And as I always say, stay safe out there.